I was only an old man. I did no harm to anyone. I went about my own way and bothered no one. He offered me welfare, but I didn't need welfare. I didn't need any money or any pity. I earned my own way in this world. I had no legs. Once I had, but they were shot off in a great war. I still made my own way in this world, though. I built myself a little platform to get around town, and I became the best damn mailman this town ever had. And so starts my tale, which is about the way I was murdered and what I did thereafter. It's a peaceful and good little town. It's at the edge of the Atlantic on the north coast and is supported by fishing and a bit of farming. A tall building that looks like a kind of castle is a lunatic asylum, which serves the entire state by being where the incurables spend out their lives. Every day I wheeled myself up the steep hill to that place, and every day I delivered a few pieces of official mail to the nice old woman who was the keeper's secretary. She was the best friend I had. She was a delightful person. Every day she gave me a cup of tea and talked with me for a few minutes. She was always very, very nice to me. One day I went up to the place and there was no answer at the door. I knocked very hard and very long, but there was no answer. I reached up and turned the latch and shoved the door wide open. Inside, my dear friend was hanging upside down from a big beam in the hallway. Her throat was ripped and she was drenched in her own blood. I wept when I saw her. It was horribly obvious the lunatics had taken over the asylum. I could hear a sad laughter coming from up above, many of them in hysterics as they tortured their keepers. And I turned my platform around and began to wheel it away just as fast as I could. I could hear him coming directly behind me. I could hear him coming after me, choking and laughing. My throat became dry and it became impossible to breathe. I was so terribly, terribly frightened, so terribly afraid. They came up to me from behind and pulled my cart backwards at a tremendous speed, kicking me and shoving me from side to side, sticking their faces close to mine, disgustingly screaming into my face as I cried for them to let me alone. Then they pulled me away and broke my platform to bits. They dragged me into their asylum where they continued to mock me and spit all over my face and laugh. They dragged me by my arms all the way up the stairs to the very top of the place. My bruised body was wretched in agony. My mind was in tears as they taunted and ridiculed me because I was crippled and couldn't defend myself. They lifted me over their heads and the outer ledge and threw me about like a bag of bones. They threw me against the stone walls and all the time jeered and laughed and laughed and laughed at me. Then they lifted me over the ledge and brutally let me hang suspended by my fingers, which they stood upon and crushed with smashing blows from their fists and their feet. They let me drop the full measure of the asylum onto the pavement below. As I fell, my heart stopped and I died before I hit the ground. When I did hit, I was totally demolished. The police came shortly thereafter and ended the lunatics' disorder and returned them to their cells. The ambulance arrived and took away my dear friend and the various keepers who'd been slaughtered inside. And they scooped up what there was left of me. I mean, there wasn't very much left, just only a fleshy pile of human pulp upon the pavement, just messy flesh, some bones, slime. They put what they could of me into a bag, and they put the bag of slime into a coffin. And they buried me on a nice, respectable hilltop in the graveyard, overlooking the town and the asylum. I could feel the presence of the asylum still. I could sense it leering at me, still mocking and jeering, and I could still hear the laughter. On the very first night, I could hear the laughter and the fetid air coming at me, even in my grave, and I could not stand it. I collected myself and my energies, and as slime, I came out of my grave and oozed toward that asylum. I came upon the place, and I think they sensed my coming, for as I approached, the laughter stopped. And there was suddenly in that place an awful, lunatic silence. And I entered silently and unseen and slid up the stone staircase. I climbed that place, and I stopped at every door. I filled the locks of every door with myself, my slime. My remains matted and hardened, and locked the doors of the cells in the asylum. Locked them, and they were welded shut forever. The keepers in the morning could not open them, and the experts they called could not open them. Now I'm returned to my grave, what's left of me, for much is still behind. And I've had my revenge, and I'm happy and at peace with myself and the universe. It is the 7th night now since my visit. The screams are louder and louder now, and they are horrible. Lunatics are starved in that death's door, and I hope soon to reclaim all of me, so that I may spend my eternity in this pretty graveside, as whole a man in death as I was in life.